Alright, so we're going to do the Subscapularis pull-up. This is one of the most difficult pull-ups that you can do. It's going to require a lot of lat and ab and overall back stabilization. So what Ron's going to do is he's going to start hanging. So you'll notice that his shoulders are protracted. That means that they're up close to the ears. When it's close to the ears, that stretches. We talked about how important it is to make sure your muscles in the full stretch position. When I started working with Ron, his back was really his weak point. The first thing we taught him was that he needs to elongate totally. That's what I see most common mistake in the gym is not getting that full elongation. You'll also notice when you're protracted that your elbows are rotated externally, that's going to stretch. So his initial movement is going to be an internal rotation that shortens the lat. He pulls straight up. He'll pause for 2 seconds. What he's doing is he's trying to push his elbows back. Now he's going to keep his hips forward, stretch his abs out. This is tough to do slow-mo, and then lower down. So if you think about a great lat exercise, the pullover, it's here. What he's doing is basically a body weight negative pullover. So he'll do one of the hardest exercises, pull up, and then he'll do an eccentric pullover. So his lats and subscapularis muscles are firing. Okay, so it's a 1 second up, 1 1,000, 2 1,000 second pause, and then 3, 2, 1 second eccentric. Let's get on. Okay, now we're going to one of my favorite row exercises, which is a corkscrew one-arm row. Corkscrew just indicates how you're going to rotate your hands, just like you're uncorking a bottle of wine. Not that you'll ever do that. It's very important with the corkscrew. It teaches you to fully stretch that lat. So go ahead and grab it for me. So if he just grabs it normally, you'll see that he's pretty elongated here because he's shoving his hand down. But if he rotates his arm out, that's going to lengthen his lat muscle that much more. Okay, so it's a great teaching tool to protract and retract. So he'll go ahead and lift, and he'll retract, which means he's shortening and bringing his shoulder blade in. Go ahead and keep moving, it'll probably kill you. So protract, retract, great tension. So what you notice here, we'll give him a little bit of a cue, is that we want his leg that's on the bench to be greater than 90 degrees. So that's going to shove his weight forward. So go ahead and keep coming forward. And what that does is that takes the weight off of this side of his body, places it more here. So the center of gravity, anytime you're lifting weights, you want the working muscle to be as close to the center of gravity as possible. So by shoving himself in this angle, he's going to start to feel a lot more of a contraction, particularly in that lower lat position. So now we're going to work on a wide grip lat pull down. Wide grip is relative to your shoulder width and your arm length. So for me, I might be, it's like a long bird arm, I might be way out on the edges. For Ron, he's a little shorter than me, so his arms aren't quite as long. So wide grip for him is probably just right there, just beyond the bends. So find what works best for you with this. There's really no right or wrong way necessarily with it. So he'll have a seat. You'll notice his body positioning. His lumbar spine is completely locked out. His thoracic spine, he's trying to basically break his thoracic spine over top of my finger here. What that does is that puts the lat muscles in the perfect line of pull. If he's rounded forward, that's going to take the pressure from his lats and start to put a little more anterior on the shoulders and on the pecs. Okay? So his first initial movement is just like the pull-ups. He's protracted. So he's protracted here, so he's stretched. His first movement is to retract, so his elbows squeeze in, and then he'll squeeze back just a little bit. When you squeeze back, just keep going. When you squeeze back, make sure that you're not rounding your shoulders forward. There's a difference between squeezing back and squeezing back. Okay? So his pressure is going straight down, and then now it comes straight back. You're going to feel a huge difference when you do that. You may want to have a partner push under elbows up, and then once you get there, push back, so that you practice doing that. Your elbows should not elevate, they should remain down when you push it back. Right? So the tempo is a 3, 2, 1 rush. You're gonna stretch for 2, and then right back down for 1 second, and 3, 2, 1. All right, bench press. You guys have been doing this since you were 12 years old. More than likely you haven't been doing it with 100% optimal muscle improvement. So there's a way to bench press for strength, and there's a way to bench press for muscle gains. If you're a bodybuilder, then you need to start to bench press for muscle gains, okay? So go ahead and put your arms out for me, Ron. Now, the pec muscles, when a muscle can only shorten, and so when the pec muscles shorten, what it does is it brings your arms and your shoulders together, okay? So when you're doing a bench press, if you're just going down and up, you're gonna get some chest recruitment, some shoulder, and some triceps recruitment, right? But we're trying to maximize your chest gains, and so what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna try to shove your hands together. So you notice how his chest starts to flare on that. There'll be no actual movement, but what that does is that it tells the body that you're gonna use your pecs more so than you're gonna use your shoulders and triceps. You're gonna get a really good chest contraction when you do this exercise. So Ron's gonna go ahead and lay down for me. So you'll notice that a lot of people will excessively arch their back here, so you can get your arm underneath. So if you're powerlifting, that's an advantageous thing that makes your body stronger. But when you're bodybuilding, you wanna actually contract your abs and press your spine, your lower spine, into the bench. This might be difficult with your feet on the ground, depending on how high the bench is and how long your legs are. I'm not a huge fan of putting your feet up. To start practicing, you may want to put your feet up on the bench. And so that may help you flatten your spine. If you still can't quite get it there, then you can bring your feet up, right? As quickly as you can, learn how to keep that engaged, bring the feet down, and then bring the feet back down to the ground, right? So Ron should be able to keep it contracted. And what that does is that makes the chest shorter and allows it to get a better contraction. Okay, so he's gonna go ahead and lift the bar. You'll notice he's squeezing his hands in, his pecs are flared. He'll go 3 seconds down. He'll pause on his chest, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, pop right back up, and then right back down. So anytime you're bench pressing, and you walk out at the top, see what's happening? He takes all the tension from his chest and puts it onto his elbow and shoulder joint. We don't want that. We want time under tension. So he'll stop just shy and then go right back down into his movement. So he'll pause 1 1,000, 2 1,000, pop up and right back down. 3, 2, 1, pause. Good job. Doing another bench press exercise. It's seemingly simple exercise, but for muscle building, we want to optimize it. So there's a couple of points that I want everybody to think about, right? So the only direction that a dumbbell can press, or any weight for that matter can press, is directly down. So if he gets his arms all the way extended, the only pressure is going through the joint. There is no pressure in the chest. Okay, so it's important that he always keeps his hands outside of his armpits, essentially. Okay, so that way there's always constant tension on the pecs. We want to bring him down in the full stretch position, but if you come stretched like this, the tension starts to come away from the pecs and a little bit more into the anterior deltoid. So he's going to keep his wrist outside or just above his elbow, so that gravity is always trying to pull him away so that his pecs have to activate. Okay? In his first initial movement, which you won't see when he's in the stretch position, he's going to initiate by trying to pop his elbows together. Not so much lead with the dumbbells, but lead with the elbows. Right? So pop back in the press. Tempo is going to be 3 second down, 2 second pause, 3, 2, 1. Pause, pause. We'll maintain the tension. Pop up. You notice that his hands do not come inside his shoulders. If you have a partner or you're training your partner like this, what I like to do is I'll find where their shoulders are, and I'll just put my hands right up above. He can touch me slightly. The dumbbells, if he starts pressing in, that means that he's trying to cheat and rest. It's important to always keep your time under tension. We're going to do a machine chest fly. I really like the machine chest fly because with machines and cables, unlike the dumbbells and barbells, gravity isn't a factor. You're going to have tension on the muscle no matter what. So this is a great opportunity to pause in the peak contraction position, right? To really get those chest fibers completely shortened. There's really no difference between outer and inner chest muscles, but you will feel your sternum portion of your chest a lot more when you pause with your hands together. So what Ron's going to do is, in the stretch position to protect his shoulder, he'll have a slight bend in his elbow, okay? But as he gets closer to his peak contraction, he's actually going to lock his elbows out and then press together. Basically, once he gets his elbows locked out, that takes recruitment from the shoulders completely out of him, so only his pecs can work. Now, it may not look very hard, but if he holds this long enough, this is a huge contraction and very difficult. So I'll pause for 2 seconds there, lower back for 3 seconds, remembering to bend his elbows slightly, extend, and squeeze. Okay. The chest muscles don't just bring your arms together, it actually internally rotates at the shoulder. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a trick here, something that you will want to do as well. So to get the full stretch, he'll actually want to externally rotate. So his elbow crevice, so his elbow crevice is stretched, it's pressing up just a little bit. I'm exaggerating a little bit with him. And then as he comes forward, it's going to internally rotate, and that's going to shorten that chest muscle. Okay? So he externally rotates at the humerus, and then as he elongates, he internally rotates, and that's going to get that full chest contraction. So again, 3 seconds down, come together, squeeze and pause for 2 seconds.